Christine, 1,300 deaths. It is a really high number. I know that many of them, hundreds of them, also came from Egypt. First of all, just walk us through what Saudi Arabia has officially said about the fatalities and their response to the situation.
Well, good morning, Joumanna. It's good to see you. So let me first just say that it took Saudi Arabia more than 2 full days to issue an official statement on these fatalities. So it's really good that we've now heard directly from the kingdom about what exactly it thinks happened or what exactly did happen. So Saudi Arabia said specifically that 1,301 pilgrims died during Hajj, and it noted that many of those deaths came to heat stroke, or rather due to heat stroke. It also noted that more than 80% of the fatalities came from unauthorized pilgrims. Essentially, these were pilgrims that flew into Saudi Arabia without a proper permit to perform Hajj and then spent hours walking in the direct sunlight without access to proper shelter or to the proper medical attention that they may have needed. Now, I do want to note that Saudi Arabia does undertake a lot of measures to try to prevent pilgrims from coming into the country and performing Hajj illegally. It has also done a lot in recent years to try to combat the rising heat levels. It has, for example, set up 100,000 air-conditioned tents around holy sites. But clearly, as we have seen this week, Saudi Arabia perhaps it did struggle to deal with these massive flows of pilgrims and with this unprecedented heat. So it's clear that it's probably going to need to do more in the future if it wants to handle more pilgrims.
Christy, we're just putting up a headline there saying that more than 1.8 million pilgrims attempted a Hajj this year. And I thought it's interesting because as part of Saudi 2030, I know they're looking to target 30 million foreign worshippers a year by 2030. So what is all the incidents this year? What sort of bearing is that going to have on the Crown Prince's ambitions?
Well, at the end of the day, Joumanna, I think it just will make things a bit more complicated and a lot more costly for Saudi Arabia. So as you said, the kingdom's goal is to be able to handle or have the capacity to handle 30 million foreign pilgrims by the year of 2030. That's more than double the amount of pilgrims that we believe came into Saudi Arabia from abroad last year. So clearly, if Saudi Arabia has struggled already to manage the situation that we just witnessed here with far fewer pilgrims than it wants to bring in, then it is going to need to do more. And that's obviously going to lead to more spending. It's going to need to set up more facilities like those air-conditioned tents. It's going to make sure that there is more adequate access to healthcare in the future. And this is something that's going to be costly. It needs to be said, though, that Hajj is quite lucrative for Saudi Arabia. So you can bet that the country will do whatever it needs to do to ensure that the situation that we witnessed this year doesn't hinder its ambitions to grow that pilgrim target to 30 million by 2030. Future Market Insights notes that Saudi Arabia probably brought in about $170 billion this year alone from Hajj, and it sees that growing to almost $350 billion in the next 10 years.